Step into the chilling world of Jeffrey Dahmer, a twisted journey from darkness to an unexpected transformation. Unravel the horrifying secrets and the violent demise of one of history's most notorious criminals. Join us for the transformative journey of Jeffrey Dahmer. Subscribe now for this bone-chilling exploration. Hit the bell icon to stay tuned. Let's take a look at the life of Jeffrey Dahmer. He was born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. His parents were Lionel, a chemistry student turned research chemist, and Joyce, who worked as a teletype machine instructor. Jeffrey was the eldest of two brothers, with David being the younger one. During his childhood, there were conflicting accounts about how he was treated. Some say he lacked attention, while others claim he was doted upon. But there were tensions in the family, especially because of his parents' constant arguments and his father's absence due to studies. Jeffrey developed an unusual fascination with dead animals at a young age. It all started when he saw his father removing animal bones from beneath their house. This sparked his curiosity, and he began collecting bones, preserving them, and even exploring the bodies of live animals to learn about their skeletal structure. In his teenage years, Jeffrey struggled with feelings of being an outcast at school. He turned to alcohol as a way to cope with his problems, often hiding it in his jacket while at school. It was during this time that he also realized he was gay, but he kept this a secret. As he grew older, Jeffrey's fantasies took a disturbing turn. He began to imagine dominating and controlling a submissive male partner, which became intertwined with his fascination for dissection. These fantasies eventually led to thoughts of rendering someone unconscious to fulfill his desires. Despite his troubles, Jeffrey was known for pulling pranks and being a class clown. He even performed these antics for money to buy alcohol. However, his grades declined and his parents' marriage fell apart, leading to their divorce in 1978. After the divorce, Jeffrey's mother gained custody of his brother, and Jeffrey stayed in the family home. In 1978, after finishing his studies, Jeffrey Dahmer committed his murder. He convinced a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks to come to his place and tragically ended his life. Following that incident, Dahmer enrolled in college, but had to drop out due to struggles with alcohol addiction. He then joined the army but was discharged due to drinking problems. Dahmer had encounters with law enforcement before returning to Wisconsin. It was there that he began luring victims from bars to his grandmother's house, where he drugged, strangled, and dismembered them before disposing of their remains. Although he was briefly arrested for assault, he was later released on probation. Between 1990 and 1991, Jeffrey Dahmer committed a series of horrifying murders in his apartment at 924 North 25th Street, Milwaukee. He tricked young men into coming to his place, drugged and strangled them, and engaged in gruesome acts with their bodies. He even took pictures and kept some body parts. Despite encounters with law enforcement during this period, he continued his killings undetected until his arrest in 1991. On July 22, 1991, Dahmer lured Tracy Edwards to his apartment under false pretenses. Edwards noticed something disturbing and tried to escape, seeking help from the police, which led to Dahmer's arrest. Inside his apartment, authorities discovered a horrifying collection of body parts, revealing the extent of Dahmer's monstrous crimes. Dahmer confessed to the murders and faced multiple counts of murder. He pleaded guilty, but was insane to 15 counts of murder. The trial of Jeffrey Dahmer commenced on January 30, 1992, in Milwaukee. He was confronted with 15 charges of first-degree murder. Prior to the trial, he voluntarily admitted guilt on January 13, thereby waiving his right to establish innocence. The defense argued that Dahmer suffered from personality disorders, while the prosecution maintained that he possessed awareness of his actions and had control over his impulses. Mental health experts presented varying assessments. Some claimed Dahmer had an illness, whereas others asserted that he was mentally sound. The trial lasted for a duration of 2 weeks, with both sides delivering their closing arguments to the jury on February 14. On February 15, the court delivered its verdict, finding Dahmer sane and not suffering from a mental disorder during the 15 murders he was tried for, though 2 jurors dissented on each count. Sentencing was postponed until February 17 when Dahmer chose to address the court. He expressed that he had never desired freedom and, frankly, wished for his own death. Dahmer acknowledged the harm he caused to the victims' families in Milwaukee, attributing his actions to mental disorders. Despite society's lack of forgiveness, he hoped for redemption from God. Dahmer received life imprisonment plus 10 years for the first 2 counts and life imprisonment plus 70 years for the remaining 13 counts. As Wisconsin had abolished capital punishment in 1853, the death penalty was not an option. Before being transferred to the Columbia Correctional Institution, Dahmer's father and stepmother were granted a 10-minute private meeting to bid farewell. 3 months later, Dahmer was extradited to Ohio for the murder of his first victim, Stephen Hicks. He pleaded guilty and received a 16th term of life imprisonment on May 1, 1992. The transformative journey of Jeffrey Dahmer. As we go forward with this case, kindly subscribe, like, and click the notification bell. Upon sentencing, Dahmer was transferred to the Columbia Correctional Institution, where he was placed in solitary confinement for a year due to safety concerns. Surprisingly, he received numerous correspondences from people worldwide, with some even donating money to support him. Using the funds, Dahmer purchased various items for himself. After 1 year in isolation, Dahmer requested to be moved to a less secure unit, where he was assigned daily cleaning duties in the prison facilities. This routine kept him occupied and engaged. Following his confessions in 1991, Dahmer asked for a copy of the Bible, marking the beginning of his transformation to Christianity. With encouragement from his father, he also read creationist books. In May 1994, he was baptized by Roy Ratcliffe, a minister from the Church of Christ. Ratcliffe visited Dahmer weekly, discussing life and death. Dahmer even questioned whether he was sinning against God by continuing to live, as he had mentioned in an interview. A fellow inmate attempted to harm Dahmer in 1994, but he only suffered minor injuries. Dahmer's family stated that he was ready to face any punishment in prison. His mother, Joyce, also maintained regular contact despite not seeing him for years. In their weekly phone calls, Joyce expressed concern for Dahmer's well-being, but he seemed to have an eerie acceptance of his fate. Jeffrey Dahmer's violent demise. On November 28, 1994, a fateful morning unfolded at the prison where Jeffrey Dahmer was serving his sentence. He left his cell for work, accompanied by 2 fellow inmates, Jesse Anderson and Christopher Scarver. They were left unsupervised in the prison gym showers, and chaos erupted. Around 8:10 a.m., Dahmer was found on the floor of the gym bathrooms, brutally injured with severe head wounds. Despite being rushed to a nearby hospital, he tragically passed away 1 hour later. Christopher Scarver, already serving a life sentence for murder, confessed to the attacks, claiming, "God told me to do it." Following the news of Dahmer's death, reactions varied. Families of his victims had mixed feelings, while Dahmer's mother expressed anger towards the media. His body was cremated in September 1995, and even his brain was later cremated, marking the end of this dark chapter in criminal history. Thank you for joining us on this bone-chilling exploration of the life and crimes of Jeffrey Dahmer. If you found this video intriguing, don't forget to like it and share it with others who might be interested. Subscribe to our channel and remember to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update from us. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.